Welcome to mypersonalfootballcoach.com's Soccer Player Development Podcast. Discover all the secrets, hints and tips about soccer player development and soccer coaching from some of the leading figures in world soccer. Here's your host, Saul Isaacson-Hurst.
What's happening, guys? Welcome back to another show. And this week we've got a top guest for you. It is Jeroen Chantrain. Now, Jeroen's an academy coach at Anderlecht in Belgium. Anderlecht, obviously, if you don't know, one of the top academies in European football. And came across Jeroen last year. Obviously, we were there filming the Inside the Academy, which you can check out on the Inside the Academy YouTube channel, where we did an in-depth documentary. And he very nicely agreed to come on the show. So just again, going over their stuff about what they do at Anderlecht. Very much technical based, very much individual based, lots of 1v1, really like specific detail, drill based, quality passing drills and individual based. So really interesting anyway what they do, really different football culture there. Lots of success, produce lots of players. Like we talked, Lavia, for example, has just gone to Chelsea, was an Anderlecht player till 15, till Man City came and got him. So really privileged he agreed to come on the show. I know you're going to like it. And remember, don't forget, check out the Inside the Academy YouTube channel, where we've got the Inside the Academy in-depth Anderlecht show. And we've got some few more Inside the Academies coming up in the next few weeks, actually. So a couple in England and one more abroad. So really looking forward to bringing you that. But without further ado, let's get into the show. So Jeroen Chantrain, welcome to the show.
Hello. How is it? Everything okay?
Very good. Thank you. Long time no see, and good to see you again. And thanks for taking the time. I know you're very busy over there at Anderlecht. Just, Jeroen, give us a brief outline of your coaching journey up to this point.
As a young coach, I was starting with Sint-Truiden. It's also a first division team in Belgium. I've did there the under 10 for 3 years. Then I was transferred to Anderlecht, where I began as under 9, under 10 coach. Then I was going up to under 11, and now since 2-3 years, I'm doing the under 13, under 14 with the Purple Talents, the individual training sessions on Tuesday and Thursday. It's during the school hours. And from this year, I'm also transition coach from the 8 versus 8 to the 11 against 11. So that's a little bit my history. And it's my 6th year now.
So 6th year?
6 years at Anderlecht, 3 years at Sint-Truiden, so 10 years in total.
Amazing. So give us just a brief, talk about your first role at Anderlecht then. This is one of the biggest academies in the world. Everyone's interested in it. Talk about your first experiences walking through the door of Anderlecht. What was that like?
For me, it was impressive because I was playing against them with Sint-Truiden, and it was always nice to see these kind of teams, with a lot of individual qualities, but also some animations that they've got. So the first 3-4 months, it was a lot of information that I received from Mr. Kindermans and Mr. Deloos. So for me, it was a whole new world. It was an identity, a new DNA. And it was very impressive also to work with that kind of talent. It was, I think in each group you have 12 or even more players with incredible abilities on the technical side, but also mentally. For me, it was a dream that came true because I was always a supporter of Anderlecht, and now to work there in this environment, it was very nice, but it was difficult because Brussels is a whole other mentality than the other teams in Belgium. So it's not always that easy as a young coach to enter the academy.
So tell us about the recruitment. How did you get the job?
I was doing some training sessions during the holidays with an academy that was linked to Anderlecht. And there for sure there were coaches from Anderlecht, and also Mr. Deloos was there. And after a few trials, they invited me to talk about a role in their academy. And at the beginning, it was like you can give some training sessions, so you can see if it's something for you, and we can see if it's a match. And then after one session, it was okay, and I was directly entering the academy. So
how long had you been coaching beforehand?
3 years.
3 years
at the highest level.
And tell us about that club. What was that other club you coached at?
It was Sint-Truiden. For me at that time, it was one of the best academies in Belgium in the grassroots. So from under 7 until under 12, there was a lot of quality. And also the coaches were high level, so it was nice. And the games between us and Anderlecht were always tough. It was always a good game with a lot of nice football. Also, STVV Sint-Truiden was an academy. They were standing also for technical ability, a little bit like Anderlecht, but for sure the number of players with qualities in Anderlecht were a lot more than at Sint-Truiden. So, but they were searching for young coaches with the same idea of football, and that's one of the reasons why I was recruited with Anderlecht.
Tell us about your own, coaching journey when you have that first job at Entrada. What did your sessions look like? Where did you get your coaching inspiration from? I'm always interested in terms of, think about session designs. You're going in as a young coach. What sort of sessions are you putting on? Where do those ideas come from?
At high school, I was doing top sport, so it's football at school. It was 12 hours a week, and my inspirations came from the teachers that I got there, like Dirk Gijzelings, Michel Bruinings, Anoé. These ideas I took with me, but I adapted a little bit with my own ideas. But the basic from my coaching skills I've learned at the top sport school in Leuven. And by the way, Dirk Gijzelings, he was also a coach at Anderlecht, so it was a little bit the same idea that we got there.
So give us an idea. What did your early sessions look like? Give us a typical session that you put on. What sort of things are the players doing?
For me, the most important is the technical ability. Grassroots level, it's me and the ball, and they need to develop a maximum as possible their technical abilities, like passing drills, technical dribbles, also 1v1s. For me, is the most important that we need to create some creative players that they have some I don't know how to say it exactly, but when they receive the ball, they need to take some initiative, and with the ball, they need to do something, and we as a coach, sometimes I see some coaches, they are playing PlayStation, and they always talking about, you need to do it like this, you need to do it like that. That's not the type of player that we want to develop. And for me also, I let them be creative, and these young guys need to take decisions. And when their technical ability is high, they can do everything at the grassroots level. It's from later on that we need to put some animations at place.
Did you do your coaching badges at the Belgian FA as well?
Yeah, for sure. But I did also my studies at high school, so university, and then you have some short course that you can follow from for the UEFA E. So if you have UEFA A, you can do it if you have a bachelor and you have a master degree. It's a short thing that you can do. Normally it's 1 year UEFA B, 3 years UEFA A here in Belgium, but I did it on 2 years in my master degrees. So
and the UEFA B, what did that look like? What sort of stuff were you doing in your UEFA B? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was basic stuff from 11 against 11. For us, it's you have now the UEFA C, it's 5 against 5, 3 against 3, basic of football. And then UEFA B, it's a little bit of preparation for 11 against 11. You see a little bit video analyzing, so these kind of things. And then for sure, UEFA A, that's periodization, and you go further on in the 11 against 11.
Is there like technical drills and stuff like that in those courses? That's what I'm interested in. I mean, what is it? Was it like more of like a general game orientation, or is it more technical training, sort of real detail? Or what?
It's more a game orientated course. It's not that individual. I think the more individual skills that you learn, it's in UEFA C with us, because there you are. This is for the younger age. It's for the 5 against 5 in Belgium. So it's from under 7 until under 9, under 10. Yeah. And there you learn how to create exercises, but also how to coach an individual young player. to make them better.
Yeah,
But
because I'm interested in that. So your UEFA C course, that involves a lot of what 1v1 skills, 1v1 drills and passing drills and that sort of thing.
yeah, exactly. And they need, I think now they need to organize also a food festival for young guys. So dribble parker, so dribble skills. They need to do some rotation exercise, that they need to introduce technical abilities, passing drills, shooting, these kind of things. It's now under the name of football festival for little guys from the age of 6 until 9, I think.
Will there be stuff like, ball striking, different ways to strike the ball, shooting technique, passing
Yeah.
technique? So because what I'm interested in, we don't get a lot of anymore. The courses in England are very much based around game, even the beginning ones. There's very little technical detail for the coaches. I'm just interested in what that looks like for you guys in Belgium.
Yeah, it's a little bit the same, but for me, I think there need to be a difference again with performance and development. I think at the younger age, in the grassroots, for me, the most important is that we develop a player individual and not in team, because my goal as a youth coach is to develop players individually, and that one day they can achieve their dream and arrive in the first team. Hopefully with us in Anderlecht, but even further, like the examples that we have, Lukaku and now and ever. So that's the goal for me personally. And for sure, there are some coaches, they want just to win the league. And after the season that they can say, okay, I've won with my team the league or tournaments, or it's a little bit, each coach need to choose their plan and their career. But for me, the most important, and that's a little bit sad to hear, that the like with us, the organization, the Belgian organization of football, it's also like in England, based on how can my team win games, or how can I develop my team to play in different playing systems, styles, these kind of things.
No, I think to be fair to the FA here, it's a lot more individual. It is individual based, but it's a lot more based within games sort of structure and play. There's very little technical content and detail for coaches to learn about 1v1 and skills and ball strike and that. So they've gone more the road, fair enough, to do more game oriented, but still is an individual focus, but it's just in a different way. I think there's just not a lot of technical details, which is interesting. Remind me then, so your first role at Anderlecht. Remind me your first role at Anderlecht again.
It was a coach from the under 9, under 10.
Under 9, perfect. Yeah. So just tell us about that then. So you mentioned that in the about the 5v5. Just tell us. I mean, a lot of people won't know. But just tell us about the structure of football at Anderlecht and at the FA in terms of what ages play, what formats and stuff like that, and how you structure that at Anderlecht.
Okay, so under 7, under 8, under 9, they are playing 5 against 5. These guys are playing, so you have 24 professional teams in Belgium, and they are playing against 12 of them, but it's decided by which part of the country, so the teams in the east will play against 12 teams in the east, and there in the west they will play against 12 teams in the west. So until under 10 it's like this. Then you have under 10, under 11, under 12. They are playing 8 against 8. And this is like under 13. From under 13, you are playing 11 against 11. But from this year, the 10 best academies in Belgium, they have a competition. So, and it's decided by labels. So like one of the things that is important is how many players of your academy are playing in the first team. Accommodation, license of coaches, so how many UEFA A's you have in your academy. So this is all in general, and every team needs to send it to the FA, and then at the end there is a ranking. Anderlecht is at the first place at this moment, so
wow.
And so the best 10 teams now, they are playing Elite 1, then you have Elite 2, and then at the end, last year we had playoffs. So it's a whole other organization. So and from under 13, you are playing for result ranking. Under 10, 11, 12, it's only playing without a ranking.
So, and then so tell us about the under 9s, 5v5. You did that. What sort of formation will you play for a 5v5?
We are playing like in the diamond, goalkeeper diamond, but the animations there, we don't use a lot of animations. We are very focused on the individual qualities of a player. So like I said, game skills we are not developing, or our focus is not there. It's mostly at how can I make a player better, and how can I learn how a player needs to do some technical dribbles. And also the detail coaching there is very important during the training sessions, and also during the games for sure. But the training sessions are for the coaches, the games are for the players. So that's a little bit the mindset that they have there. But
give us an idea then, what's a typical under-9 session look like at Anderlecht?
Mostly they are during the whole training session. The technical aspect is in every exercise, but for sure they have some shooting exercise, passing drills, but normally every training session is starting with juggling. That's one of the most important things with the young guys. And then you have some technical dribbles in different kind of exercises, without and with pressure. And then for sure a lot of coaches are doing the little duels like 1v1, 2v1, 2 versus 2. These are the most important thing to develop their skills during training session. And like I said, in the beginning it's without pressure, and normally at the end of a training session we are putting some pressure against them, so that they need to learn how to develop their technical abilities without and under pressure.
And how do you come to decide what you're going to deliver in your session? Is there a syllabus, is a curriculum? How much freedom do you have as a coach, or is it much more in terms of the practices design is given to you to deliver?
I think we have a controlled freedom. So there is something that we need to follow, but you are free to create your own exercises. But I think we have enough quality within the coaches in the 5 against 5, and also our coordinator. And they are talking always about their exercises. And I think for sure the coaches in the 5 against 5 with us, they are top class in everything that they are doing. For sure, when I saw training sessions of them, it's also the detail coaching that they have. But the most of them are already in the 5 against 5 for 6, even 10 years. So it's their like I said, it's their passion to develop young guys. So
can you give us an idea about, give us an example what that detail would look like as a under 9 session?
The most important is when you start a dribble and you are doing like if you start a dribble, we are talking about where is the pressure. So you need to dribble with the right feet if the pressure comes from the left side or otherwise. The timing of the dribble, of the skills, then also different types of dribbles, orientation, elimination, protection. So these kind of things the guys know from a very young age. And then for sure, if they are going to under 10, 11, 12, we are going further from there we are talking about spaces and everything around this. But under 9, it's me, the ball, and opponent, and then we are talking about both feet, the best feet, protection of the ball, elimination. So these kind of things are very important. And the thing of we are doing a lot of repetition, so that if a player of under 9 and you are not under 9 and you are asking the same questions, he will give you normally the equal answer. So he will saying that, yeah.
And how much, for example, would a session be unopposed with no opposition? How much would be opposed with opposition, for example, roughly for each session?
I think in each session we are doing without and with opponents.
Do you have like a percentage? How much would be without an opponent? How much would be with opponent? How much unopposed or unopposed?
I think from the younger age, it's mostly 40% without and 60 with.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah,
and just talk about then game day. You're going to play a game on 9v9, 5v5s with your under 9s. What's your approach on game day? How do you approach that? What's the mentality? What sort of messages are you giving to the boys?
I think the coaches they let them a little bit free in the animations. For sure, they are talking about the diamond that they need to handle and how to, they're giving their positions, but mostly they are talking about what they've learned during the week, like some dribbles, some skills that they learned during the week, and that the coach is stimulating them to show it during the game. It's mostly a mental talk to give them some confidence to do the things that they learned during the week, under a maximum of pressure, a competition game, like we said. And maybe if it's too easy, they give some extra challenges to them, like playing in certain touches, like 2 touches, 3 touches, or everyone needs to touch the ball before we're going to score, or these kind of things.
For example, what about positions? Do players play different positions? Are there set positions? How does that work?
Yeah, multi-position. Until under 12, every player needs to play, like I said, every position. So central defender, he will play also in the middle. He will also play at position 9 as a striker. So we develop like multi-position players.
Interesting. And so then going now to the 10s, 11s, 12s, the players are moving into 8v8. What's the change then in terms of what you're delivering in the curriculum? Is there any difference? What's the different messages going for the players?
Yeah, I think in the 8 against 8, we need to combine the technical ability, the skills that they learn, also to game skills. But at under 10, it's quite basic. So there we're playing in a double diamond, goalkeeper double diamond. So there are some principles that we want to see in possession, in ball lost. And for sure in under 10 it's basic. In under 11 we will put some things more in ball position, some animations. And then in under 12, they're just until December. They are playing 8 against 8. Sometimes from January they are playing already 11 against 11 against certain teams. So there, under 12 we are already preparing for playing 11 against 11 in under 13 at the end of the season.
Because I'm interested. I mean, as you know, from 5v5 to 8v8, I mean, it's only 3 players, but it's quite a big, it's a bigger pitch.
Yeah, it's a bigger
there's tactically a lot more demanding, isn't it? You got to help the players. How much more tactical information are you giving those players, if you like? What sort of things? How are you helping those guys with that transition?
I think the most important that we are doing is trying to the technical abilities that they learn in the 5 against 5. We need to make them also game related, but on position in the 8 against 8. So from the 8 against 8, we are working with the tattoo, like catching, keeping, progressing, creating, finishing, winning. So every little guy of Anderlecht knows the tattoo. And then we have some sub principles and keep the ball. What does a player of Anderlecht needs to keep the ball in the team, and what do the teams need to keep the ball in the team? So we have the tattoo is always individual but also collective as a team. So then we are training normally 2 times a week the individual player, and 2 times a week 2 training sessions, a little bit more the team principles. So
the individual one would be similar to the younger age groups, much technical, individual based, and your team one's more tactical. Give us an idea then what's that tactical session would look like. What's a typical tactical team session look like?
Tactical team session. We are not talking about tactical. We are talking more about animations. So we are trying to make some like the in and out movement of position 2 and 7. So when 2 is entering into the field, the 7 needs to stay wide, and also other side. If he is eliminating to the outside, number 7 is going inside. These are a little bit of principles, but we are doing this in a passing drill, for example, at the beginning to learn the principles, and then we will go to it in a game. So we have on position passing drills without pressure, and then we have on position with opposition. So it's a little bit the same, but we add some pressure. And then we have the topic games where we are going in an 8 against 8 game, giving some topics that we want to see. So also these training sessions are structured by the on position or profile development, like we said, then the on opposition and at the end the topic game.
Because it's like really you're doing a passing pattern, aren't you? Remember when I came over, we made the film.
Yeah,
lots of passing patterns, and then lots of you talking different about the rotations and movements. So, for example, you're going to work on that passing pattern with the 2 and the 7 rotating. How long would you spend on that passing pattern, that passing drill?
Normally I'm doing like my warming up, and then I have 3 blocks of 25 minutes.
So it's a 25-minute drill. And then, a lot of listeners won't know, obviously, the Inside the Academy, when we filmed it, we saw that the big onus on left foot and right foot and creating balance on both sides. And what I found quite remarkable is that everything, 50% literally down the line was on one foot, 50% on the weak foot as well. So you work really massive emphasis and on that both feet. Can you just tell us about that?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is that we develop these kind of players. They need to be relaxed when they receive a ball, and if you can handle with left and right, yeah, for sure you are more relaxed when you receive the ball, and you can think also quicker, because players, they didn't have the ability to play left and right. They need to be focused on what we are going to do with the ball, and then they need to think about the other players on the field. And our players are very relaxed, and they are like the king of the ball, like we say in Belgium. So they have a lot of more time to think about the other things, because ball handling, they are already at the highest level, and that's very important. Also in the multi-position, a player who is playing on the right side, we're going to put on the left side also. So so he will develop the both of them during the games. And at training sessions, that's the most important of our detail coaching. It's the both feet. It's technically everything needs to be at 110% even. It's
so you have a 25-minute window. You do 12.5 minutes on the strong foot, well, on one foot. You do 12.5 minutes on the weak foot. So that would be, for example, on the right side with the 2 and the 7, and then maybe with the 3 and the 11 on the other side. And every player gets that experience of that equal weight on both sides.
Everyone needs to do it like this, and it's until under 18 even. It's during the whole academy that we are doing this.
And tell us a bit about that. You mentioned 1v1 earlier. This is a big part of what I do in my work. How talk about, is that still important? How important is that? What does that look like when you're working in the 8v8?
The thing that it's also in the 11 against 11, when you are strong in the 1v1, it's also like I said, more easier for your team. If you can eliminate with the 1v1, you will play a majority. It's logical. So for sure, if our defenders in the build-up can eliminate on a 1v1, we will for sure being much stronger, and we will always create a majority. And that's a little bit the idea that we have from the young age. And in the 8 against 8, we are stimulating every player who's playing behind in the back to search a 1v1 and to eliminate his opponent directly. And even everywhere on the pitch, we are stimulating 1v1, because these are skills that you are developing in the golden age, from under 9 until under 12. And if we receive in the 11 against 11, normally every player can eliminate his opponent. Every player can handling both feet, right or left. Every player can play mostly everywhere on the pitch. For sure, in the 11 against 11, we are talking about defenders, midfielders, and strikers, but normally they can play more positions than other teams or other players.
And where do you get your inspiration for that? I mean, is there a curriculum within the club? Is there guidelines? I mean, who leads that? Or is it more, you're just taking inspiration from the game?
For sure. I'm reading a lot. I'm developing by watching movies, by watching documentaries. But for sure, the person who was creating this all was Mr. Kindermans. That's for sure. I think the game model and all the ideas and all the things that we have at Anderlecht at this moment was created by him, and for sure other people's like Mr. Deloos and some coordinators like Dirk Gijzelings in the past. They created the whole game model and the whole philosophy DNA within the club.
Interesting. So then moving on now to the 11v11 13s plus, tell us a little bit about that, and then, you know, like I said, is there a difference, and what's the added information that the boys are getting? Is there any difference in the session design and what's getting delivered?
Yeah, I think from under 13, under 14, we are during the days on Tuesday, Thursday, we are training the technical ability skills, like you were there during these training sessions. This is focused on the individual player. During the evening sessions, for sure, there we are training our animations, like on the attacking part, progressing part, build up from behind, all these kind of things were during the evening sessions. But the most important is also that at under 13, 14, we are playing in a 3-4-3 with a diamond. Why? I think it's good to continue and developing the 1v1 behind. So you are playing 1v1 in the back, you are playing 1v1 in the front, but you have a majority in midfield. So we need to learn how to create and how to play the majority in midfield. So I think, this is a quite, it's a tough system, but it's very, it's a lot. We have a lot of fun with playing in this system. Also with the guys, it's a lot of fun to develop this system to the guys.
Interesting. And tell us about then the Purple Talents program. So obviously you mentioned before you work within this. This is the school program that you guys run. Tell us about your role in that. Tell us a little bit of background about that program.
I think the last few years I was just a trainer, was giving the training sessions during the day, and it was Roel Clement, who was the coordination member of the team. He's now actually coaching the first team as an assistant coach with the first team.
Wow.
He was leaving the academy, but I think he was with Mr. Kindermans developed. I was following the top sport school. But I think there you are training with other players from other teams, and training sessions are given by other trainers. They created the Purple Talent program to give the training sessions by our own coaches with our own team players, with our own players. So the quality of the training sessions is very high. And during 1 hour 30, we are training different type of technical abilities like crosses, passing drills, finishing, these kind of things, long ball, heading, everything that a player needs to develop.
So they do an extra session on a Tuesday, an extra session on a Thursday. That's right. So 2 extra sessions, 2 90-minute sessions. Tell us about the students, the cohort, how they made up, what's the youngest they come in, and how are they selected, and how many players have you got altogether there?
At this moment, we are about 60 players in total. You need to know how they are selected. For sure, they are the best players in the academy, for sure. But in the past, there were only 15, maximum 20 players. Now, with every team is proposing stuff like this. So now the gap between a Purple Talent player and not the Purple Talent players is smaller. In the past, it were the elite players or the best players, 3-4 players of each generation. There were Purple Talents. Now it's mostly the 50% or even more that are Purple Talent, because otherwise they are going to another team. So we need to follow the other teams also.
Who are your rivals? What other teams are trying to get players in Brussels?
I think it's in whole Belgium now. We have Bruges, we have Genk, we have even Standard, we have Ghent, I think, and for sure from abroad also, like Ajax, teams from England. So now with the Brexit, it's more difficult to leave Belgium to go to England. Last year, a lot of players were leaving to Italy.
Wow.
So yeah. The Academy of Anderlecht is always yeah, uh, a good academy to deliver some players to other teams. So and if they are investing some money, yeah, sometimes players are leaving. Like in the past, we had the example of Romeo Lavia.
Yeah.
He's just transferred to Chelsea. He was leaving Anderlecht for Man City at the age of 15, 16.
Yeah.
So some players we lose, and yeah, it's
Part of the game, unfortunately, isn't it?
yeah, for sure.
What's the youngest player you have at the Purple Talents? What age group do you start taking them in the school?
Normally from the under 13.
Okay.
Then, but last year we had also two players of under 12. But they were playing already with under 13.
Right.
So, and the reason why under 13 they are starting in they are the first year after primary school. So, and it's much easier to organize everything by transport, by the school, by everything.
So then you have two of these extra 90-minute sessions. Give us an idea what one of these 90-minute sessions would look like.
They are always starting with a physical trainer, some like coordination exercises without a ball, sometimes with introducing the ball, and then normally we have three little exercises with three different coaches, and they pass after 20 minutes to the next coach. We have normally 10-15 minutes with physical trainer, and then 3 blocks of 20-25 minutes with the team coaches. And these normally you have always one exercise with a finishing drill, a passing drill, and the third it's a little bit different. That change every time.
And it's like a carousel, isn't it? So you have like three sessions going on, three coaches, for example.
Yeah.
Was it 20 minutes each or something like that? You rotate, spin around. And change. Like, I remember someone was doing a passing drill, someone did like a possession, maybe someone did a 1v1 to shooting, very much based like that. So then that's your daytime. Then in the afternoon, then you go into the game like exercises. Give us an idea what those sessions look like.
Normally it's always starting also with physical coach. We have every age has his own physical coach. And then normally after 20-25, sometimes 30 minutes, we will going with the same system, like in the 8 against 8 by the tattoo. We are creating some exercises. Like if we are training the build up from behind, we are talking about the keeping or / progressing. Sometimes we are touching the finishing and the creating. And normally it's always with, like you saw with us at Neerpede, with a passing drill without pressure, but where the detail is on the both feet technical side of the exercise. And then we are putting some pressure into it in game-related things like 1v1 on the side, defenders in the 16 meters. So everything is always built by without pressure and with pressure on position, game related.
So very much, very drill based, isn't it? It's very much, drill it in, do it a lot, repetition.
We are always offering some different animations. We have 3, 4, 5 animations, and then we need to.
So you say animation. When you say animations, you mean like pictures, different pictures from the game that you want to give to the players, or is that what you mean?
Like you saw the exercise that you filmed that I give to the under 14s last year. It was like an inside run. It was like the overlap. It was like different animations in offensive part, like creating, where this was the creating part of the tattoo. And then they can choose during the game what is the best choice. So during the game, normally the coach isn't giving the options. They need to be creative and they need to choose the right one.
So very much, playing devil's advocate here, a lot of there's been some people in the coaching fraternity who say everything should be done in a game and be more chaotic and be less drill based and everything should be opposed. What would your argument be to these coaches?
I think the most important thing for a child, for a kid, because also they're under 13, 14s or children, they need to have some recognition on the field. And from there on, they need to recognize spaces. They need to recognize situations, and then they can take some choices. And if you're offering them or you let them learn the spaces on training by drills, by movements, by animations, then they can take the best decision more easily during the games and then when it's total chaos during the training sessions. And for sure later on the coaching of the coach in question will be less because the coach of the under 18, it's a different type of coaching than under 13, under 14. At under 13, 14, we are developing players. In under 18, there you need to prepare them to go to the first team and to have some results. But with us, for sure, every child and everyone likes to win. That's for sure, but it's not the most important. We need to develop players by our philosophy. And I think with recognition, game-related exercises, game-related technical drills, they will learn a lot more than if you are doing something to do something.
And Brussels itself it's a very diverse city, isn't it? I remember one of your colleagues telling me it's one of the most diverse cities in the whole of the world. Yeah. I mean, what does that diversity bring, as in terms of the recruitment? What are the benefits of having such a melting pot of different cultures in one big city coming together?
I think it's always nice to work with a diversity of players. Like everyone is bringing his own positive points into the group, for sure, but also the negative. There are always the pros and the contras. But I think to work with diversity, it's always I can learn also for a coach, because one, you have the qualities of a player, but two, you have also the social part and the mental part of a player. And that's always interesting with us, how players makes each other better to grow as a player, to grow as a team. And like I said, the dressing room in Anderlecht is hard. It's very hard. For new players, they are entering our academy, also for new coaches. You need to have a strong character, because otherwise it will be very difficult. But if you arrive to entering the team and you deserve your place, you will be a very good player, that's for sure, because everyone makes everyone's better.
And what about yourself? What are your own ambitions as a coach? What level would you like to coach at?
At this moment, I'm happy with the youth coach, but for sure my dream is to entering a professional staff in the future. But I'm a young coach. I'm only 27 years old, so I have a lot of time. I will, first of all, I'm joining a lot to develop the younger players, that one day that I will see them on my television and playing abroad in the big 5 competitions. And maybe in 5-10 years, I will make a step to a professional staff. That's my goal, but step by step.
What about, have you done many tournaments abroad and played many European teams? Have you had any experience against English football teams?
Yes. We played last week in the under 13 tournament against Tottenham.
Okay. What do you think of? What's your impressions of English academy football?
It's different. They are making more a squad, more a team than we do. Not a lot of detail coaching on the technical part, mostly in the team, like how the team is playing, more about organization and these kind of things. Not that structured as we are. So it's a different kind of approaching a game or approaching players.
And what would your advice be to a young aspiring coach who wants to, develop technical footballers, really good footballers for the highest level?
First, listen to your players, create a relationship with them, and really make them better. Be patient, do a lot of repetitions, and I always saying, if your exercise is looking good, your exercise is too easy. So you need to put a next level, and you need to because sometimes when we are filming exercises, it needs to be good to see, nice to see. It needs to be fluid. But most of the time, when it's like this, the exercise is too easy for the guys. So you need to always challenge them to make the next step. That's the most important. And one day you don't need to win leagues, you don't need to win cups. If one day a player is reaching the first team and he came to you and saying, Coach, I remember you when I had you at under 9, under 10. That's the most best feeling ever in that you can receive as a coach. This appreciation.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Ryan. Appreciate it. Thanks for your time. It's been fantastic.
No problem. Thank you.